and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with a Kick. I'm Zander. That guy over there is Kegan. He's got his coffee with honey tonight, ready to go. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and crack open my can of beverage. Oh, baby.
And what are you drinking tonight?
I've got myself a can of Dr. Pepper Cherry Zero Sugar. So, really living the high life tonight.
This is not a sponsored ad. This is just what we do.
No, I just essentially drink only Dr. Pepper when it comes to beverages, if I can help it. When it comes to soda beverages, I mean, I drink coffee every morning, so cool for me. So we're going to get started here. Go over the UEFA Super Cup that occurred on Wednesday afternoon, and then we'll do a brief rundown of the matches coming up this weekend. We will be short one match, unfortunately, with Luton Town and Burnley's match. Luton Town's going to have to hold off on their home opener for Premier League action, but we'll get into that. A little tasty tidbit that we'll come out with here in a separate video later this weekend. But we'll go ahead and start off with the results, which was, I will say, not as easy as you predicted, for sure.
No, it was, we came out a little sloppy. Mm-hmm. We did. We missed Kevin De Bruyne. We missed him. Our midfield didn't look as strong.
I noticed it missed Kevin De Bruyne, and therefore you missed Gundogan even more. Because he kind of would stand in place of De Bruyne to a lesser extent, of course. And I said in our preview, like, you guys didn't lose anybody super important, like, which is true if you're at full strength.
Yeah.
You really noticed in this match, I thought, that linking play between backs and forwards.
It wasn't as creative, wasn't as fluid.
Yeah.
We looked stuck at times, but
it wasn't your best match, to be sure.
We still lifted the trophy.
That is, oddly enough, hey, it's a give and a take, right? You lose one essentially preseason cup match due to a penalty shootout, and then you take one home.
Redemption.
I don't know which one's more important. I couldn't say.
I would argue neither.
You know what? And I think that you're right. I will say that I would say that if Alvarez is on the field, he should be taking your penalties, because his penalty was particularly nice out there.
Yeah, it seems like Cole Palmer is starting to come into his own.
Yeah,
I am not a big fan, so I'm excited to see him actually prove me wrong.
He did a fair job. I mean, that was a nice little looping header, a good job to get on the back end of the cross in, and to take the pace off. That's sometimes hard to do. To get the looping header over the top of the goalkeeper. But it was nice.
Exquisite.
I will say that Seville were very rough on you guys. Like, they were definitely trying to bully you into the lack of quality that you ended up displaying. But, if you can win a match when you're not at your best, that's the best match to win, essentially. Because you can play better, and I'm sure that's what Pep was relaying after the match was over. Like, you guys are lucky we came out of this one.
Yeah, I can promise he was like, we don't deserve to win. We did not deserve it. Always. That's what he always says. Even if we win 5-0.
Even if you won 3-0 away.
Standards are high.
Yeah. All right, but that was the UEFA Cup. I would not say, like, if you didn't watch the match, you can definitely skip it. It was not that thrilling of a match at all. But champions are champions, it turns out. We'll move on to our action coming up later today with Nottingham Forest and Sheffield United. Two, I would argue, a very important match, actually, between these two teams. Because I think I had Nottingham Forest. Oh, excuse me. I had Nottingham Forest getting relegated, I believe. Did I say that?
I think you did.
Hold on, let me check my notes. Did I throw away that page? I'll check the notes later on. But I believe I had Nottingham Forest going down because they were not good last year. And it will be important for Sheffield United because I think they will be down there as well. You had them going down, so This is
Yeah, I think they were my 20th.
Yeah.
But these matches are important because, these teams probably aren't going to beat the big dogs. But if they can beat each other, then they're more likely to stay up. So it's an important one.
Yeah. Definitely so. I don't think it'll be a very good match. I mean, I'll turn it on. Sure, why not? I'll just have it on in the background while I'm doing my daily grind work.
Oh, yeah. The old 9 to 5.
Yeah. Well, it's actually 9:30 to 6, but that's... you get the half an hour lunch. Get the half an hour lunch in there. I like the 9:30 start time because I don't have to wake up early.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't think it'll be that great of a match. But we'll see. The City Ground there in Nottingham. Moving on to the Saturday action. Oh, predictions. I totally forgot about the whole purpose why we're here. I've got it as a Nottingham Forest victory 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm going to go a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw.
I think Sheffield United will come out feeling a little bit disappointed from the previous weekend, and I think they'll fight to a draw. That
would be something. It would be a nice show of spirit on their part because they definitely didn't show it in their first match. They were overmatched for sure. Next up, we've got moving into the Saturday action. 10 a.m. start time, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central. Fulham hosting Brentford. Those bumblebees getting in there. Is it two teams that came off of pretty good matches against better sides. I mean, Fulham, we talked about, essentially stole the 3 points from Everton, who looked the better side, and Brentford stuck it out there in their match. I think they're a 2-2 draw. I've got Brentford carrying through the momentum and Fulham kind of playing more to the form that they displayed and getting taken down 0-2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of Craven Cottage. I think Fulham wins 2-1.
All right.
I think they start off hot early. They have the crowd behind them, and I think they hang on.
The old former Dempseys. I almost said Patrick Dempsey, but it's Clint Dempsey. Not the same Dempsey. The old Clint Dempseys. All right, next match, we've got Liverpool hosting Bournemouth. Those boys of Bournemouth got to go all the way up and over to Liverpool. Liverpool on the northwest coast of England before you get to Scotland. Anyways, I think that Liverpool's probably got this one in the bag. I don't think they'll joke around here. I've got a very solid 3-1. They're at Anfield. When you're at home, you kind of give a goal typically. So I've got 3-1 advantage to Liverpool.
Yeah, I have 3-0.
Yeah.
I think Bournemouth will test them here and there, but Liverpool isn't as good as they were 3 years ago, but they still have the quality to beat them pretty bad.
I think that's totally fair. All right, next up. Oh, speaking of which, it's my Wolves hosting Brighton. Vindication.
They came out and they said it was wrong.
They said it was wrong. They took the referee set, all of those guys, and booted them off this week's of matches. So
I think that's the first time they've ever done that.
I mean, it was truly egregious that they did not get the penalty there. And, unique discrepancies call for unique action. So this is, I mean, I would prefer to have the point, to be honest, than have some sort of punishment come out. But, it helps you a little bit. Anyway, we're at Molineux, so we've got a chance to get points. Do we get them? Yes, but just one. I've got a 1-1 draw, Wolves and Brighton. Wow. I think this one could go 2-2, but I'm going to stick at a 1-1, considering we haven't scored yet. But we showed some, as I said in the previous episode, we showed some really nice, aggressive motion in the previous one. And Brighton, we know that they did quite well in their previous match as well. So, and I'm going to bump it up. I'm going to bump it up to 2-2. I'm feeling good about it. 2-2. Still a draw, but more exciting.
I think I'm going to go 3-1 to Wolves.
Wow. I mean, if only. That would be fantastic. It'll get our goal average.
Brighton definitely dominated Luton, but I think Luton just was not ready for the Premier League.
Yeah.
But I think Wolves, I thought they looked really good. I think they'll take it to them.
I'm going to say Cunha brace. Get a twofer.
Man. Yeah, I think he gets a goal. I think a defender gets a goal. I'm going to go center back header.
I don't know who that is.
Again, these are just opinions. If you choose to bet on them, feel free. But I think that defender scores, Cunha scores, and the third one, who knows? But I think they get away from it in the second half. I think it's 1-1 at halftime. Wolves take it. Okay.
Listen, I'll take it. They'll get a goal average above 1 per game, which is so much better than last season. Next up, a big one of the big matches the big matches coming up after this, but one of the big matches, there's 2 pretty good ones here. Spurs and Man United.
Tottenham
and Man U. Let's see if Tottenham can get their act together a little bit here, because they were definitely underwhelming in the first match. I've got it. Actually, it's a pretty disappointing 1-1 draw there at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Man U wasn't impressive against the Wolves. They lucked into their 3 points, as we've established at this point. But yeah, I got a 1-1 draw there.
Yeah, I had a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw.
I think neither team looks great. And usually when the big teams don't look good and they play each other, it's always a draw.
It's always a draw, and it's typically a draw. Now this next one here, the primetime matchup on Saturday is a big match. It's at the Etihad. It is Manchester City versus Newcastle.
Yeah.
I mean, both these squads come in looking great. 5-1, that's pretty great. 3-0, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
I've got it. Very optimistic here. I've got a 3-1 City victory over Newcastle, which is probably a little optimistic considering. I mean, not only is De Bruyne out for this game, like they said he's going to be out for a couple months, right? I think they said.
Yeah, they think 4 months.
4 months, jeez.
So into the calendar year.
Yeah, I mean, basically, might as well just push it into the winter break, but maybe he can come back before that. For a hammy, you do want to make sure. As they didn't really do for this, you want them to come back 100% because that can get retweaked real easy. And it's kind of
that's what happened.
It's a little bit of a City curse because we know Aguero used to deal with hammies all the time. So I don't know if it's just something unique to the City training staff that they're just not good at dealing with hamstring injuries. But
it's their weakness, probably.
Yeah, because I know that they've gotten awards in the past for like having a really good squad. There in the training room, but hammies, don't go if you have a hammy problem to City.
Yeah, not the meat of choice apparently. But yeah, no, I think I have City 3-1.
Oh,
I think this will be similar to when we play Arsenal in the season last year. I think Newcastle's really good, but coming to the Etihad, I think there's going to be that big brother little brother syndrome. I think it'll start out pretty hot, but even though we don't have De Bruyne, I think the only thing that worries me is the quick trip. So I think we were in Greece,
and it was hot. Like they took water breaks in each half. So I mean,
yeah, that's my worry is the travel. And a lot of our starters played, so how are they going to transition? But I don't know. They're built for it. I think that we'll take the win 3-1. Newcastle's good, but I think this fixture this early on, I think will be good.
I mean, certainly. I'm just hoping for a good match because I know both these are quality sides. Moving on to Sunday, where we would have had, I believe, Luton Town and Burnley, but instead we have only Aston Villa and Everton. I have Everton bouncing back here because they showed a lot of promise in their first match. Aston Villa, whatever. So I've got it as a 0-1 victory away for Everton.
Yeah, I went 1-1.
Okay.
1-1 draw. I think both teams are going to come out pretty hot. I think it'll be one of those like classic Premier League games where it feels like it should be 9-9.
Yeah.
But it only ends up being 1-1 because the quality isn't that great.
Right.
But I think it'll be a good attacking match, but it'll draw.
Now we've got next up after that we got London Stadium, West Ham versus Chelsea. This one I've got a bit of a, to use a phrase that we have used many times so far in our couple episodes, a real barn burner here. Real barn burner. 4-2 West Ham.
West Ham scoring 4. Wow.
Yeah. Well, Chelsea didn't impress me at all in their first match. They didn't look motivated. They looked very lackluster. So I think that West Ham takes it to them 4-2.
Yeah, this will be one where we'll really see experience because Chelsea is young. A lot of guys either from relegated teams or young guys coming overseas. And in the West Ham, which has pretty much had the same team since 1990. I'm not really sure who they brought in except for James Ward-Prowse. And I think bringing him in, that's just the creativeness they're missing. But yeah, I feel like every time I look at their squad, I mean, Michel Antonio's been there since he was born. Like he was just born to be their striker. But I think it'll be a West Ham 2-1.
Much more reasonable scoreline. It'll definitely be exciting. You have to have one of those that's kind of like out of nowhere each weekend. Moving on to the Monday match, the sole Monday match, we've got Crystal Palace hosting Arsenal at Selhurst Park in London. This one I've got Arsenal taking the cake. They're gonna 1-2.
Yeah, I have it 3-1 Crystal Palace.
Really?
Crystal Palace, it seems like every year they pick a team that they're just going to bully at some point. That's like there was a calendar year where they beat City like 3 times. And we just couldn't. And then earlier in the spring, they beat Arsenal in a pretty tough game. So I think Arsenal's going to have that in their memory. I don't know. I'm thinking Crystal Palace wins 3-1.
Hey, that'll be a shocking scoreline coming out of the season, coming out of the weekend. But yeah, that is the action we've got coming up this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, only nine games.
Only 9. We're gonna miss out on that fantastic match that would have been Luton Town and Burnley.
Ooh. The championship match, per se.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, only a few months removed from it being one. But that's what we've got going on. Any other big things you want to hit before we skedaddle out of here?
Staying on the soccer topic, but removing it from the Premier League, the U.S. women's national coach did resign today. Resigned on Wednesday, and I think that was their way of saying, we don't want to fire you to save face, but we do want you to leave.
But we do want you to get out of here because we lost in the round of 16 when, they've won 2 previous ones. I thought we agreed no more Women's World Cups. I guess it's not technically Women's World Cup stuff.
The finals coming up. Who do you think's going to win, England or Spain?
One of them will win.
One of them.
I'm going to say England will win because I'm more of an Anglophile than into Spain.
Oh.
That's all I've got.
No España. Yeah, I think England.
España.
I think they'll win. Honestly, if I watch any women's team, it's the England team. They're pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah, well, I know that I don't actually know if anybody watches does anybody watch the Women's Premier League? Because I know that a lot of...
They've recently started growing in popularity. I think they just hit 20 teams for a Premier League. I think it might have been last year, but supposedly there was a game, I think it was Arsenal Man City or Arsenal Man U, but they put it in like Old Trafford or whatever stadium it was, and it broke the record for 50,000 people.
Broke the women's record.
Women's record, yeah.
All right, well,
it's gaining traction.
it's gaining traction in England, at least. I know that the North American product continues to be essentially, I mean, at least the WNBA has the NBA to support them. MLS does not really support the women's league. I think it's just the men's national team supports the women's domestic league, if I recall correctly. And
yeah, I don't know.
team.
I just saw a stat that the Premier League lacrosse league gets more viewers than the NWSL. So they have the lacrosse league to rival with right now.
I don't even know what channel that comes on. Is that like an FS2 at midnight or something?
It might be FS8. I don't even know.
FS8,
it's not a channel I get.
All right. Well, if you can find yourself some lacrosse out there in the airwaves, you'll be watching
Don't let
lacrosse.
us know because we won't watch it.
As long as you're not watching pickleball.
Oh,
I'm not a pickleball guy. I am anti-pickleball. Anyways,
we'll have a whole episode on that.
This is a soccer podcast. Let's get out of here before we start talking about anything else. We'll be back on Tuesday morning, with another episode. Feel free to like and subscribe and post the things on the whatevers. We're on our episodes are coming out on Twitter now, so that's cool. You can check them out there.
X.
If you're X. They're coming out on X. On X. They're coming out on X. So if you're watching it on X, cool. Retweet it. No, they do so call it retweet it. They don't call it
re-exit.
Rexit. This is Brexit. But I'm going to stop talking now so the episode can end because we've trailed on for too long now. Have a great weekend. Watch some soccer, and we'll see you on Tuesday.